$3.99 a month? I can't believe everything I get. Real-time coaching, daily live workouts where I can see my friends, plus thousands of online classes like strength, boot camp, yoga, and more. I'm obsessed with NeoU's interactive workouts. And when you sign up for a 60-day free trial by January 31st, you'll pay just $3.99 a month. Sign up now at neoufitness.com. That's neoufitness.com.
Want to pay off your 30-year mortgage in half the time? Network Capital is offering a low 15-year fixed rate at 2.125% with a 2.3 APR. Start off your new year with a lower rate and half the payments. If you're looking to lower your interest rate, pay off your home sooner, or pull out some cash, don't miss this opportunity. You'll never have to worry about refinancing again with rates this low. Our 15-year fixed rate is 2.125% with a 2.3 APR. It's not often to get such an amazing second chance to refinance and forget it. That's a 15-year fixed at 2.125%. Yes, 2.125% with a 2.3 APR. Network Capital has experts standing by right now to help. Call 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1-HIT. As in home run. Call now and save big on your refi. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1448. NMLS ID 11712, not licensed in all states. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Licensed by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the Financing Law number 603B787. An equal opportunity lender rate subject to change and may not be available at rate lock. Discount points may apply subject to credit approval. Call 800-500-1448 for additional cost information.
Your electric bill keeps going up. The cost of solar has gone way down. It's time to go solar with local veteran-owned Semper Solaris now and get all the benefits. Here's veteran, founder, and owner Kelly Shawhan.
In the military, when you give your word, it's just as your word. Work hard and keep your word. That's what we do every single day. I've heard about Semper Solaris and found out that they were veterans, so I knew they were going to do the job right.
Add Tesla Powerwall and be ready for blackouts. We get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. Semper Solaris offers new heating and air conditioning systems with a lifetime warranty and new roofs with a 50-year warranty. We hire vets and give back to the community with our Semper Cares initiative. Go solar American style with Semper Solaris. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2023. Get the federal 26% solar and battery tax credit. Call 877-211-5591 or visit sempersolaris.com. 26% federal tax credit based on eligibility. On approved credit. Consult your tax advisor. Cannot be combined with any other offers. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see website for details. Expires 1/31/2022. CSLB number 978152.
People really want to live like this?
No, I don't think so, but when are they going to do something about it?
Exactly.
All you have to do is vote in different people, and then you don't have to live like this.
Take Bonin out of office, you can remove Gascon, or elect a mayor that will actually do something about issues like crime and homelessness.
John and Ken.
Weekdays at 2.
Shut up about stuff that doesn't affect my day-to-day life.
On KFI.
Bill Handel here on a Thursday morning, January 20th. And where is Wayne? Because he was supposed to join us here in this conversation. I didn't ask him for a while, so is he around, you know? Or I just take it for myself? No idea. All right. So Wayne can come and interrupt us at any time. There you are, Wayne.
All right, I thought you were doing this at 8.
No, I'm doing it right now. And I'll do the Tesla story coming up at 8 o'clock.
All right.
All right, so now, another trial in the killing of George Floyd. And this has to do with a federal trial for the 3 cops that are accused of helping Chauvin kill George Floyd. One holding George Floyd's legs down, another one holding his back down while this was happening, pushing on his back, and the other cop just pushing people away and not letting get involved, while the bystanders are screaming at the cops, "Get your knee off his neck, he can't breathe." And of course, there was 9.5 minutes of Chauvin just calmly, with his hands in his pockets, whistling a tune almost, while George Floyd dies under his knees. So let's talk about the federal trial. State trial is effectively what they did, the cops. Federal trial is kind of interesting because it's more about what they didn't do.
It is
their duty.
It is almost entirely about what they didn't do.
Okay, let's get into it.
There are 2 ways that the feds say these cops violated George Floyd's civil rights. The first way is that while Derek Chauvin was actively violating his civil rights by kneeling on his neck forever, they did not intervene to stop it. Now, this charge only applies to 2 of the 3, because Officer Lane did, and this is on body camera, so we know it's true, he did twice ask Chauvin, hey, should we maybe roll him on his side so he can breathe better? And which Chauvin ignored. So it would be almost impossible to say to a jury, he didn't do anything. He didn't try to do anything. You could feel that he didn't do enough, or he could have been more insistent, but it doesn't matter. He definitely did something.
Let me interrupt and dive into that a little bit deeper. One of the important points is 2 of those cops, this was their first week. Chauvin had been on the force for 19 years, and he was the supervisor, and was called out and then took over effectively what was going on. And so they're saying, hey, we're just new cops. We had a supervisor that was doing this, so therefore we were, quote, following orders as to, if not, at least implicitly, we were following orders. That one doesn't fly. The establishment we were following orders disappeared at the Nuremberg trials when the defendants, the Nazis, were accused of crimes against humanity, and they said the same thing. And incidentally, they were following orders, and it's just too bad. You can't use that argument. If you see that and civil rights are being violated, it doesn't matter if you ordered not to do it.
No, and not if they try to put it in terms of we were just following orders. However, the government has to prove 3 things. And let's go through each 3 of them and see if there's any holes that they could try to exploit, the defendants. The first thing they have to prove is that the 2 officers who were charged in this count, they knew that a constitutional violation was happening. So the first defense can be, we did not believe it was unreasonable force. If we believed it was reasonable force that we were witnessing, we cannot be guilty, because you have to prove we knew it was unreasonable. That's number 1. Then you have to prove there was an opportunity to intervene. That's where we're brand new,
right?
He's the boss,
right?
Reasonably, we didn't believe there was an opportunity to intervene. They can try it.
Yeah.
And then third is you chose, knowing it's a violation happening, knowing there's an opportunity to intervene, you choose not to intervene. I think we can agree they chose, the 2 officers, King and Tao, chose not to intervene.
All right, so let's go through those holes. The first one, they didn't know that George Floyd's rights were being constitutionally violated. And the argument is, we're brand new at this. We don't know. We don't understand constitutional rights. However, they're seeing someone literally die in front of them. To ignore George Floyd saying, 30-something times, I can't breathe, and then going into unconsciousness. He is handcuffed. He's on his stomach when Derek Chauvin is putting his knee on the neck of George Floyd for 9.5 minutes, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're going to get away of, we didn't understand, his rights were being constitutionally violated. The simple fact that, and do you then, here's one, do you connect what they did with constitutional rights? And I think that the facts are so egregious that I don't know how they're going to prevail.
But the jury is going to obviously have to make that decision. That is a gut check, though. I know for you it's like obvious, there's no... Yeah. But unless you are never allowed, even for 5 seconds, to have somebody on their stomach and put your knee on their neck, if you're never allowed, then clearly they would know. Right. He's doing something you're never allowed to do. That's not the case, though.
No, it is not.
So now it gets into at what point.
Exactly. So, that was the trial. That was the middle of the trial. That was the Chauvin trial, a big part of it.
So they're going to have that at their disposal. Then the other count is, and this is all 3 of them, and this to me is much cleaner, deliberate indifference to George Floyd's need for medical care. And that is true, that they did not try to get him any medical help for way too long. And I think that will be easy to prove, that clearly this guy needs medical intervention and you're not allowing it to happen.
No, that helps. I wish we had a bunch more time on this one because we can.
Well, we can talk about it more as the trial goes on. I mean,
we
we're
will.
just in
We
jury
will.
selection
It's
now.
jury selection now, and it's going to go much quicker than the show now. The judge, Judge Magnuson, is taking it over. He's the one that's asking the questions.
Look, federal jury. I've never seen a federal jury selection that took more than 3 days. No matter how complicated, they just don't. They don't spend a bunch of time on it like they do at state.
All right, Wayne, thanks much. We'll see you when you come back for late edition. Now I want to go into the Tesla case that's going on. The autopilot of a Tesla is accused of killing 2 people in Gardena. Well, Tesla has not been charged. It's the driver has been charged. And we'll get into that when we come back. It is a mess of complications. KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI now looks forward to the year ahead.
Future predictions for the year 2022.
People will start throwing soda, popcorn, and candy wrappers on their living room floors
To make the home theater experience more authentic.
And shaking hands will lose favor and be overtaken by double finger pointing, a head nod, and
KFI.
and KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
They found him. I'm Jennifer Jones-Lee, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The man wanted in connection with the murder of a furniture store employee in Hancock Park has been arrested.
Sean Laval Smith was spotted sitting on a bus bench. The LAPD says Pasadena PD picked up Smith yesterday morning. Smith's accused of the stabbing death of 24-year-old Brianna Kupfer last week. LA County Sheriff Villanueva says Smith's rap sheet is lengthy, and because of politics, Smith continued to be released.
And typically someone with that rap sheet, you pick up a felony, he should still be in jail. Not out there killing people. But that's the situation we have today.
There's a $250,000 reward for Smith's capture and conviction in downtown LA. Steve Gregory, KFI News.
News is brought to you by the Cunning Dental Group. The number of homicides in areas patrolled by the LA County Sheriff's Department has jumped 94% over the last 2 years. LA County Sheriff Villanueva says auto thefts have increased by 59%. He says the pandemic is the main reason for the rise in crime. He also blames the LA County Board of Supervisors for placing a hiring freeze on his department at a time when he says more deputies are urgently needed. More than 2,000 LAPD and LA County Sheriff's deputies are homesick or quarantining after testing positive with COVID-19. Officials say 898 police officers and 618 deputies were out as of yesterday. The Omicron variant has caused a higher percentage of breakthrough cases among vaccinated personnel, but has produced less severe symptoms. The Orange County DA says several assaults that happened at a COVID-19 vaccine clinic in Tucson seems to be more than just anti-mask or anti-vax.
This appears to be a homeless person who has other issues.
Orange County DA Todd Fisher says Thomas Apollo was allegedly asked to put on his mask or leave the Families Together clinic when he attacked.
Punching one of the medical assistants 5 times and another medical assistant twice. They had to pin him down until the police arrived.
Fisher says police last month ended up having to taser Apollo then.
When he went to the hospital, he broke the breast on that particular nurse.
The man's been charged with 3 counts of battery and 1 count of resisting arrest. All misdemeanors. Apollo's due back in court in March. In Orange County, Corbin Carson, KFI News.
An arbitrator has ordered a DA investigator who sued Orange County for retaliation get his job back with back pay. Lawyer Keith Bruno says Damon Tucker was fired in 2020 because he was investigating bribery allegations involving current DA Todd Spitzer.
There is a process for firing law enforcement pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement. They didn't follow that process.
The DA's office says there was no wrongdoing uncovered. The bribery investigation was politically motivated, and the final decision to fire Tucker was made by the county, not Spitzer. Democrats in Congress say they'll keep fighting for important voting rights legislation. Republicans in the Senate blocked 2 voting rights bills last night that were being pushed by Democrats. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the 2 votes are very telling.
Now that every senator has gone on record, the American people have seen who's on the side of protecting voting rights.
But Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says Democrats are doing more harm than good.
The President of the United States and the Majority Leader of the Senate have made breaking the Senate a central part of their plan to arrest.
2 Democratic senators joined Republicans in voting against changing the filibuster rule that requires 60 votes for a measure to advance. And public high schools in Whittier are getting rid of the number 1 and number 2. The school board has voted to replace the valedictorian and salutatorian with cum laude honors so most students can be recognized for their academic efforts. You got your drive now on the 405.
Well, I sure do. Good morning. Coming up from Fountain Valley here, North Carolina, 405 up towards Long Beach. There's a problem at Woodruff. Was the problem that over to the shoulder now. Just had a good look at it. But it did kind of back things up from the West 22 North 405 merge. But mind you, these toll lanes are open, and after that, kind of a normal 45 going up to LX, meaning just close to the 110. Westbound 91 still kind of in trouble. It's kind of a long-time problem at the Lakewood on-ramp. They're trying to reverse something there. The acceleration was blocked, so kind of slow coming in from Carmenita. Again, over towards the 110, but really not too bad for this time of the morning. Injured in accident, visit Superwoman, Superlawyer.com. Just saw KFI in the sky.
The Lakers lost to the Indiana Pacers, 111 to 104. Russell Westbrook's performance was so dismal he was benched in the fourth quarter. Here's Coach Frank Vogel after that game.
Very frustrating, but it's a long season, and we believe in our group, but this is definitely a disappointing loss, and he's a team top 500 that on our home court, we feel like we should win.
The Clippers also lost, but they were without Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Nicholas Batum, and Marcus Morris Sr. The final score in overtime, Denver Nuggets 130, Clippers 128. I'm Wayne Resnick, KFI Sports.
Hey, it's John Philbin. Is chronic knee pain keeping you from the things you love? You need to check out Hyperflex Knee. Hyperflex isn't your grandparents' old knee replacement. It's a high-performance procedure using cutting-edge VR surgical technology. This technology creates hyper-precision and hyper-results that has most patients walking within 30 minutes of surgery and going home the same day. Call 844-HYPERFLEX for a free consultation. 844-HYPERFLEX. Covered by most health insurances. That's 844-HYPERFLEX. Or hyperflex.com.
Want to boost your immunity and protect your community? Get a COVID-19 booster. They help keep you and others safe from the virus and its variants this winter and beyond. If it's been at least 5 months since your last dose of Pfizer or Moderna, or at least 2 months since your last dose of J&J, it's time for a booster. Visit myturn.ca.gov to find a booster near you. Let's keep our immunity strong. Get your booster and flu shot while you're at it, too. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Your KFI Financial Report is brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Right now the Dow is up 441, S&P up 66, NASDAQ up 297, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $4.65. SoCal weather from KFI. Sunny today with highs in the upper 60s to mid-70s. Copy and paste that forecast for the weekend. Right now it's 50 in Tustin, 46 in Seal Beach, 49 in Pasadena, 53 in Malibu. We lead local. Live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Justin Jones-Lee.
AM 640. Bill Handel here. It is Thursday, January 20th. Oh, quick reminder that at the end of the show, just before Gary and Shannon come aboard, or as Gary and Shannon start their show, I'm going to be taking phone calls for Handel on the Wall off the air. So if you want to jump back in, right at 10 o'clock, 877-520-1150. Again, off the air, 877-520-1150. Marginal legal advice. Going back to December 29, 2019, we actually covered this story. A Honda Civic pulls up to an intersection in Gardena. It was after midnight. The light was green. And as the car goes through the intersection, a 2016 Tesla on autopilot that's off the freeway blows through its red light and crashes into the Civic, killing the driver and the passenger almost instantly. So here we are 2 years later, and prosecutors in LA County filed 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter against the driver of the Tesla, and experts believe is the first felony prosecution in the U.S. of a driver accused of causing a fatality while using a partially automated driver assist system, Tesla system. So now the issue goes, how liable is the driver? How liable is Tesla, if at all? And this is a milestone because it is a confusing world, this business of automated driving. All right, so let's talk about automated systems. First of all, they're really not fully automated. They're intended to assist you, drivers. And they have names like Autopilot, Super Cruise, ProPilot. And the very argument is that alone, just those names can mislead consumers into believing that the cars can actually do a whole lot more than they actually can do. Now, fully autonomous cars, as we know, are being tested. I think Phoenix are going all over the place. And here is the problem. And on public roads they're being tested. But here's a real question. You've got automakers, the tech companies, engineering standards companies, regulators, legislators. They haven't made it clear to the public what the technical differences are or the legal liability is when drivers using these, quote, autopilots, which are not, obviously, they're not autonomous, when they crash into people and cause injury. So the Tesla's driver, a limo service driver actually, has pleaded not guilty and he's free on bail. And in comes the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And it opens up an investigation into the crash to determine what went wrong. Usually you don't have the NTHA jumping into car accidents, but they are in this case. And so you've got similar investigations that have for years questioning the safety, reliability of those automated driving features. Especially a larger investigation into Tesla. And there's been 755,000 of these puppies that were sold between 2014 and 2021. And they're looking at who's at fault. So, let's start with no commercially available motor vehicle today can completely drive itself. It's impossible. It can, but not commercially available. And Tesla's autopilot is classified as level 2. The car can control steering and acceleration, but a human in the driver's seat can take control at any time, take over the car, and immediately able to disengage the system. So every single car in every single state requires a human driver to be in control at all times and holds that the human driver is responsible for the operation of the vehicle. So now you've got this cutting-edge technology and basic human error and which way do you go, and now we're in a whole new realm. This is when new law has to be created and litigated, because that's always the case. And that is, do you share the liability? Certainly the driver is liable by not paying attention. Or the driver says, I was paying attention and I tried to disengage, but it all happened too quickly that any reasonable person would still plow through this red light using this auto feature on the Tesla. And so there is a lot of investigation going on, as you can imagine. And this is the first case, as I said earlier on in the segment, in which a driver using the autopilot feature causes death or injury. And a first prosecution. I mean, there have been plenty of cases, certainly in civil. And here's the argument, is if the driver is absolutely liable, which is the case, that's for criminal prosecution. Let's say an airbag suddenly explodes and causes a crash. The driver is not culpable at all. And the same argument is here. This effectively was a design or a malfunction. Tesla is going to argue, oh no, you had control, you could have taken control, and we clearly tell you in our operations manual of 300 pages with microscopic font that this is the way to drive the car. And even the DMV is struggling. It's confusing. Tesla's full driving feature, which is a cutting-edge version of the autopilot, And it's on its way to do exactly what its name is, full self-driving feature. And again, we're going to see that happen. The problem is, what happens if there's a crash? Let's see. This is where the law doesn't keep up with technology. I mean, I had the same situation when I started surrogacy. The surrogacy, there were no laws. We had to create the laws. Went to the California appellate court to determine some of the laws. Wrote legislation. The law just wasn't there. And that's exactly what the case is here. The law just isn't there. Now, will there be legislation? We'll see what the California legislature does. It'll probably be, and it doesn't matter what the legislation is, there's going to be tons of litigation. So as it is right now, driving is liable, Tesla is not, except we have to put into the mix, into the formula, the fact that the auto driving feature was on. And then determine how auto is auto. How much auto is auto? And I think there are lines, there are graduated lines there. So I'm certainly going to keep up with this. This is fascinating stuff for me as a reasonably, marginally competent lawyer, and virtually for everybody else. All right, I want to go into mental health right now. Not mine, because there's very little discussion about that. But let's say you run into someone on the street. And what normally happens, and I'm going to share with you what you do and what I do almost every single time that happens. This is KFI. Let's check in with Jennifer Jones-Lee.
The federal civil rights trial of 3 police officers involved in the killing of George Floyd starts today. The former Minneapolis officers are facing charges of abusing their position to deprive Floyd of his rights. A state lawmaker in Texas is proposing protecting individuals acquitted of murder. It's called Kyle's Law, and it would reimburse people legal fees and lost wages if they're acquitted of the charges. And the British company that's co-producing an upcoming Tom Cruise space movie says it now plans to launch a production studio in space by December 2024. We've got your drive on the 110 with EKFI in the sky next.
If you're looking to get out of your house, it doesn't matter the reason, downsizing, the kids are gone, or you've inherited a house, that's a big issue. Now what do? Well, you hire a real estate broker who lists the house, and then you get to clean and paint, repair, and then you got to get out of there when potential buyers walk through, and the house has to smell good, your tchotchkes have to be put away, and you have to do that for at least days, if not weeks. Well, how about the buyer never walking through? You pay no commission, usually 6%. No painting, no repairing, none of that. And I'm talking about directbuyers.com. They will buy your house for a fair price without any of that hassle. They won't even walk in the door. Directbuyers.com. They've been around since 1986. Janet and Matt, who own it, brother and sister, we have spent hours talking about their business model. They'll give you an honest, no obligation offer, even a $15,000 cash advance before closing. Go to directbuyers.com. Oh, and they'll never lowball you, and there's a lot of that going on in this business. Go to directbuyers.com, directbuyers.com. Call 844-242-SELL, 844-242-SELL, directbuyers.com.
Save on your supplements at Whole Foods Market. Take 20% off Orgain and Navitas plant-based protein powders and superfood powders through January 25th. Plus an extra 10% off for Prime members while supplies last. See more on the Whole Foods Market app.
From the HMS Capitol Weather Center, sunny today with highs in the upper 60s to the mid-70s. This report is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. From the Southern California Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, let's go places. We're off to the 110.
Yeah, we're trying to peel the paint off KFI in the sky. You're trying to get down there over Compton right now, but quite a bad problem is report from CHP. Going into San Pedro, South 110, a little bit past the Pulpit Boulevard. Got a whole bunch of lanes blocked, a break, and a bunch of cars and drivers. Middle lane's blocked and a backup now going through 223rd. It's building very quickly. Again, we'll be down there in a few minutes and get you around it, but Vermont, Figueroa, Maine are always good alternatives to that southbound 110. Even a little bit northbound slowing coming up. Must be Spectator. More coming up on the Entertainment Accident. Visit SuperwomanSuperLawyer.com. Got follow AFI in the sky.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Saving money feels pretty good, so lower your rates, not your expectations. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Dr. Charles Manger at Saddleback Eye Center. He will give you the all-new Laser Light LASIK exam. Have you heard? The Laser Light LASIK exam uses a laser, measures your eyes over 1,000 times to perfectly map your vision. Everyone's eye is slightly different. We're all like snowflakes. And the Laser Light LASIK exam helps Dr. Manger, when he does the procedure, to give you crystal clear vision. And I will give away a Laser Light LASIK exam to the first 14 KFI callers. I'll give you the phone number in a moment, so have your phone ready. If you're nearsighted, farsighted, you have astigmatism, or you need reading glasses, Dr. Manger can do it all. You've been told you're not a candidate for LASIK. You may now qualify for it, now that Dr. Manger has the Laser Light LASIK exam. It takes over 1,000 measurements of your eyes. Be one of the first 14 callers to get the free exam. Call 866-559-4444, 866-559-4444, 866-559-4444.
Springer and Metris owners, listen to this. Tired of waiting for a service appointment and paying too much? Check out our brand new Fletcher Jones Fan Center in Costa Mesa. We're offering a better service value with no wait appointments and extended hours for your convenience. And as part of the Fletcher Jones family of dealerships, your customer experience will always be second to none. Visit fjvans.com or stop on in. Mention this ad and the first 100 customers will receive a free oil change. The new Fletcher Jones Van Center, Costa Mesa, keeping your work vans working.
NeoU is my new favorite fitness app, and at $3.99 a month, I can't believe everything I get. Real-time coaching, daily live workouts where I can see my friends, plus thousands of on-demand classes like strength, boot camp, yoga, and more. I'm obsessed with NeoU's interactive workouts where my instructors can see and talk to me. And when you sign up for a 60-day free trial by January 31st, you'll pay just $3.99 a month. Sign up now at neoufitness.com. That's neoufitness.com.
A message from James Ramos.
As the first California Indian to be elected to the California legislature, I have experienced firsthand the life-changing opportunity that can come from a community college education with financial aid, ongoing guidance, and a structured set of courses that allow you to more easily transfer to a four-year university. When California community colleges say, I can, they mean every word.
Enroll now at icangotocollege.com.
Everyone's had to wait for something because of the supply chain issues, but that's why I love SolarMax.
Because getting solar is a lot faster with SolarMax technology. Everything is local, no supply chain middleman.
SolarMax also has the latest Tesla panels, the most powerful solar on the market.
And you can get the Tesla package for $0 down and only $79.96 a month through January 31st with a 1.99% APR.
Dial pound 250 from your cell and say the keyword SolarMax, or go to solarmaxtech.com. Monthly payment available on approved credit, CSLB 917.
Happy New Year! I'm Take Mortgage founder and CEO David Bellion, and if you're working with another lender to refinance your home, pump the brakes. I'm so confident that we can beat their rate, I'll give you $1,000 if we can. That's right, call now, and in 10 minutes or less, we'll save you money, or I'll personally put a cool grand in your pocket. Yup, that's one rack, 10 Benjis, 10 big ones. That's how confident I am that Take has the best rates in the nation. So don't wait. Call 877-818-TAKE and start the new year off right. Did I mention you can go up to 2 months with no mortgage payments and get the lowest rate? So what are you waiting for? Call 877-818-TAKE. That's 877-818-2253. Or visit takehome.com to get started today. With us, it's a piece of cake.
Equal housing lender licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Not licensed in all 50 states, including New York. Visit takehome.com for licensing terms and restrictions.
I'm Steven Ranella, host of the Meat Eater podcast and the Netflix original series Meat Eater. As a hunter and wildlife enthusiast, the question comes up, how can you justify killing and eating animals that you love and protect? Well, that's part of what we wrangle with on the Meat Eater podcast, along with broader and often funnier discussions about living an outdoor life in the modern world. We insist on sharing challenging opinions to inspire thought and action. Listen to the Meat Eater podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I think we were accustomed to a district attorney saying, we're going to get these guys, we're going to put them away.
Now, for the first time, a local law enforcement official turned the case over to the federal government because he doesn't trust the local DA.
instead is...
Because he's a public defender.
That's an
He should
abomination.
resign and save us the cost and trouble of a recall.
John and Ken. Gaston needs to resign now.
Weekdays at 2 on KFI.
KFI, AM 640, Bill Handel here on a Thursday morning. Jury selection scheduled to begin today in the federal trial of the three former Minneapolis cops, not Derek Chauvin, the three were with him, and they're being charged with violating George Floyd's constitutional rights involving George Floyd's death by Derek Chauvin specifically. And this is going to take a couple of days. You know, it took 2 weeks in the original Chauvin trial. And this one is going to take a couple of days because the judge, the federal court judge, takes it on to himself. In this case, the judge is going to ask all the questions. Lawyers aren't going to ask the questions. Now, I want to give you a scenario that all of us have run into. So you're either walking, you're driving down the street, or you're leaving a parking lot or going to your car from the store, and you see someone mumbling and gesturing and screaming, and clearly someone who is mentally ill. So what do? You stop and say, hey, is everything okay? Can I help you? What's going on? When you ignore that person, you know, you avert your eyes, pretend he is never there. And in my case, I'm sure yours case, traditionally and overwhelmingly, it's a homeless guy who is in rags and the dirt caked onto him over weeks, months of not bathing and living out on the street, and we simply tend to ignore him. And here's the question for you. Let's say someone's having a heart attack. Do you avert your eyes, or do you go over there, hey, can I help you? What can I do? Someone breaks a leg. Don't you go over there? And this is the issue of the way we deal with mental illness. Number one, we don't understand it for the most part, and it's difficult. I mean, it's easy to see a broken leg. It's easy to see what looks like a heart attack. It's not so easy to see someone who is completely nuts. And I don't mean that too pejoratively. I mean someone who is suffering from mental illness, and boy, those people suffer. So there are some rules, and this is out of the LA Times because more and more people, or more and more mental illness is being recognized, and the numbers are staggering. Out of homeless people, the LA Times did a whole survey on this. Over 50% of the homeless are mentally ill. And the general population, 20% of us have severe mental problems. And if I'm speaking to you specifically, that's one of the two of us. And I won't go into the rest of that. So here are some rules that the experts came up with. The LA Times is reporting and investigated. First of all, once you think that you're seeing someone in actual mental distress, you have to think about safety, yours and that person, and other people that are there in the immediate vicinity. And so immediately you're going to start thinking, what can I do? But however, you don't know if something happened just then or 30 years ago. You don't know the extent of mental illness. And so you have to look at it very calmly, ask if you can help. A couple of other rules: don't make eye contact. It's like you're going to see a mountain gorilla up in Rwanda. You don't make eye contact. It is deemed it's that you're attacking that person, that somehow you're a threat. By the way, in no way am I comparing the homeless to mountain gorilla. And so, but the premise that you don't make eye contact is very important. So therefore, you're not a threat. And if the person is sitting, you sit down next to that person and start asking, can I help? Although, who's going to take a chance on that? Basically, you call 911 and you wait for the experts to come out. The problem is, first of all, the police don't come out because you're reporting on someone who's walking around and muttering and screaming and gesticulating and gesticulating. And they're not going to come out, so you have to deal with it. And I think the bottom line, there are a couple of other rules, how to make an approach. Calm is your best strategy. You can't get too close because, again, that's a threat. Speak softly. So there's a whole line of
of steps you should take. But I think the bottom line is what this article shows us is, number one, the number of mentally ill people that are on the streets, how we ignore them or deal with them, the ignorance that I think is obvious because it takes a real expert to determine not if someone's mentally ill, but to the extent. I mean, we're out there seeing someone screaming and yelling and gesturing and speaking to no one. There's an issue there, but we don't know how big an issue. And the other thing is, well, how ignorant we are and how we deal with a mental illness. There's some kind of stigma there. It isn't a real injury. It isn't a real problem, medical problem. You just sort of, you're out of your head, a little bit going on. We have yet to reach a point where mental illness is considered a legitimate disease, much like cancer or an appendicitis or a broken leg. Problem is, those are, well, not the cancer part, but certainly any accident that happens out on the street where you see someone fall and there's a bone sticking out their leg, yeah, that's easy. But I think the point of this, and I think the LA Times did the same thing, is number one, we're not cognizant enough, and number two, it's like Joe Biden here, and number two, we have to be, a little bit more conscious and gracious and understanding and accepting that this is a problem, and let's see if we can help. Coming up, Handle on the News late edition right here, KFI AM 640. Let's check in with Jennifer.
The homeless man wanted in connection with the stabbing death of a young woman at a furniture store in Hancock Park has been arrested. The LAPD says Sean Laval Smith was arrested by Pasadena police yesterday morning. Smith's accused of killing Brianna Cooper last week in a furniture store where she worked. Investigators say the attack was unprovoked. Big changes could be coming to conservatorships in California.
Assemblyman Brian Mainshine, who represents Central San Diego County, has introduced a bill that would establish an alternative to conservatorships. The alternative would have people at risk using someone they trust to help them make life decisions. He says the bill would mean other changes as well.
AB 1663 would require the courts to prove that conservatorship is the true last resort, and all other alternatives, including supported decision-making, have been explored.
The bill would also make it easier to end conservatorships. Blake Trolley, KFI News.
A woman's been arrested after she ran over and killed a man and injured an LA County Sheriff's deputy in South El Monte. Detectives say the woman was arguing with the man shortly after 11 last night when deputies arrived at a shopping mall parking lot. The woman got in the car, made a U-turn, then drove toward the deputies and the man. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. A major gas leak near Porter Ranch in 2015 will go under the microscope.
Public health officials in LA County are looking for independent researchers to study the short and long-term effects on the health of those who lived in nearby communities. Thousands of people got sick and had to leave their homes. The leak at SoCal Gas Company's gas storage facility in the Santa Susana Mountains is the nation's largest known natural gas leak. More than 100,000 tons of methane.
West Lincoln, Kfi Am. Baby, in the Wild West.
Woo-hoo.
definitely. And so, can you name the elementary school one more time? So it's Farragut Elementary School in Culver City. It's on Farragut Avenue, I believe. Farragut. The baby. Why is our second song, boy? Don't